Welcome to Tuesday. It's the 8th of December, 2020. Well, folks, we've been struggling about something to talk about here over the last week with this high pressure ridge that we've had overhead, but winter is going to be on hold for only a little longer. We're going to see things really change. So for you snow lovers, yes, snow is going to come back. Yes, it's going to get colder again. For those of you who have enjoyed this weather and have taken advantage of it, you've got 2 more days of it. But a pattern shift is coming, and I think it's a pattern shift that's going to unfold and be a big factor in the weather across the Intermountain West for the rest of December into the early part of 2021. So this really long stretch of mild, dry weather we've had to start December and really had for most of November, that's going to be changing. A much more active pattern starts late this week, goes into the weekend, and next week, snow chances are looking better now. In fact, over the last just 12 hours, some of our computer modeling is a little more bullish on some of you actually getting a little bit of snow as we get into Friday and Saturday. Not only mountains, but some areas along the plains of Wyoming, Colorado, and Nebraska. Good news for mountain snow lovers. Good news for the snowpack. Good news for you skiers and snowmobilers. Fresh snow is on the way. Jupiter and Saturn. Why am I going to talk about Jupiter and Saturn? Well, because something neat's going to happen with those planets if you're a sky watcher here in the coming weeks. First of all, let's take a look at the snowpack. This is Wyoming snowpack as of early today. Look how bad the snowpack is in the lower North Platte drainage. The Laramie Range Mountains almost have no snow at all. The upper North Platte, which actually wasn't doing all that bad a few weeks ago, was now down to less than 60%. Only in the far northwest parts of Wyoming, where the jet stream has been more active in that La Nina flow, has the snowpack really been off to a decent start. So snowpack definitely in a weakened state right now, although it's early. You don't build most of your snowpack in November and early December anyway. But you certainly don't want to see it off to a poor start like this. But we do think things will change, and we should see that snowpack start to grow. So we'll use this as a reference point. Remember this 56 for the upper North Platte, these lower digit numbers for the lower North Platte drainage, the Green River, the Wind River in the 70s and 80s. We'll see where we are in about 3 or 4 weeks from now. In Colorado, well, it's not much better. Although what's interesting is the southern drainage is really not off to a bad start. A lot of this has to do with some of those early season snows that dropped a lot of snow there. These areas will get some snow as well as the Gunnison and San Juans. It's the North Platte, Yampa here. These areas here really not doing very well. Now let's take a look at how things will begin to unfold. This is the pattern we're in today. It's the same old thing, this big, broad ridge over the west. This upper level low is not producing any weather, just kind of meandering around Southern California and off the coast there. But watch what unfolds as we go forward. This is by noon Thursday. So noon today, noon Thursday. Things really change out there in the Pacific. And this upper level low off the coast of Southern California gets drawn northeastward towards Colorado, while a deeper, colder storm comes in out of British Columbia and into Washington and Oregon. The end result is a coalescing of the low pressures, and we do have a little, it's not a big one, but this is that trend I talked to you about in the last 12 hours. The models now want to form a moderate-sized storm system for Friday afternoon into Friday night and Saturday morning. Again, not a terribly strong one, but if this comes together right here, we are going to see a little bit of front range snow in Colorado and Wyoming and some of the western high plains, in addition to the mountains getting snow. And of course, the door opens to Canada, so you're going to see plenty of colder air, much colder than we're experiencing now, move on in. And here's the latest forecast. This is through Saturday. So you can see we've got a pretty good little swath of upslope snow now showing up across some areas of the western high plains, in addition to what's falling into the mountains. We could see some decent snow in the southern and southwest Colorado mountains and the northern mountains of New Mexico out of this, and even Arizona. So this is more snow than we've seen on the computer analysis than we've seen over the last couple of days. We'll see what happens. We'll update you tomorrow. But it does look like if you're traveling Friday and Saturday, there may be a little more snow to deal with than it looked just a day ago. And you can see by temperatures on Saturday, cold. Colder air does settle on in. This isn't brutally cold, but certainly we're looking at temperatures 10, 15, maybe 20 degrees below average in some areas on Saturday. That means many areas looking at highs only in the 20s. Now, as we go forward, by Sunday night and Monday, that system is headed to the Great Lakes, and we've got another trough coming in from the northwest, and this is likely going to be a good mountain snow producer Sunday night into Monday. So we're going to see another shot of high country snow with this system. This system up here is likely to have a piece of it break off and slide in behind it 2 or 3 days later. Notice up here as well that large expanse of blue, a lot of cold air building in Canada, the North Slope of Alaska, and we are seeing some incredibly cold temperatures being predicted in parts of Greenland in this weather pattern here in the coming days. Now, if we were to go out to 10 days to 15 days out, this takes us up to the 23rd, just before Christmas. Notice if I go back here, notice the blue and the gray up there in Hudson Bay, up here in Alaska, all this cold air here, the blue. Notice what happens. Notice the shift south. See that? Now that is a real cold signal, and it's also a signal for good snow in the high country with energetic, moist northwest flow off the Pacific Northwest. Now, this is going out to 15 days, but you got to take it with a grain of salt. But this is something that is showing up more and more often in the long-range trends for Christmas week. Perhaps just before Christmas, we could see us settling into some real cold air. See this gray area right here? You're talking probably temperatures up here, minus 40 to minus 50. If this does develop right here. So there could be some really big cold air building up in those higher latitudes just before Christmas time, and some of that cold air leaking into North America. So there is some weather to talk about once we get beyond the good weather over the next couple of days. Now let's talk about Jupiter and Saturn. Why am I talking about Jupiter and Saturn? Well, because for you sky watchers out there, something's going to happen that hasn't happened for almost 800 years, and that's the great conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, where they're going to come together and be just 1 degree, 0.1 degree apart on December 21st. It's going to look like one very big, bright star. This is a situation right just before Christmas to where we can maybe call it the Christmas star. These conjunctions of Jupiter and Saturn do happen about every 20 years, but we don't get to see them. But this time around, we do. You can already see this going on. If you were to look just around sundown and just after sundown to the southwest, you'll see Jupiter and Saturn very close together, and they're going to get closer and closer together between now and December 21st. Now, if you've got a good digital camera and a good tripod, you could get this and end up with a picture that you might see something like this. If you got a telescope or a telephoto lens, as these two get closer together, it's going to be quite a show. And on the 21st, this conjunction will produce what will look like one very big, bright star. Spaceweather.com is a great resource. That's where I got this graphic and I got this information. So if we have clear skies between now and December 21st, and even a few days after the 21st, it'll be something really neat to see, something that no one around here has seen, something that only happens 800 years apart, something very special to see. If you were to look to the southwest on the 16th, this could be an important day, especially if you're an astrophotographer. You're going to have Jupiter and Saturn right next to each other and a crescent moon. That's going to be something to really see around the 16th of December. And here it is on the 21st of December. As you look off to the south-southwest, you are going to see them right on top of each other. So something neat, something that doesn't happen very often, something special to see, especially right before Christmas. Thanks for watching and listening to the Day Weather Podcast. We'll talk to you on Wednesday, and we'll update you on this weather pattern